Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Box. The only opinion that matters is right here. I need something to throw in a freaking worst way. It's I'm just got the shakes over here.
Just drink it in, man. Just drink.
I can't drink. I want to throw something.
Look where you are right now.
I want to flip this freaking table over right now. Is what I want to do. I am Mike Coletta, aka Hamilton Mike, along with Brian the Ranger Retard, bringing you another great special that you love about hockey. Today we're going to talk about our 8 playoff teams from both conferences, the Eastern and the Western conferences. Brian, you want to start with the Eastern first?
Yeah, so we're going to go to the Metropolitan Division with the worst division name I think anybody's ever come up with.
Ever.
It is so stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway. So a lot of your usual suspects here, I think. So, again, the top 2 teams to me are Pittsburgh and Washington. One could finish first, one could finish second. Wouldn't surprise me either way. I think they're the two best teams of the division by a mile.
Yep.
So they're definitely going to be 1 and 2 in the division. And then as far as the third one goes, I'm going to take the Rangers here. I'm only going to take the Rangers because I think they're a hair better than the teams that are below them. I don't think it bodes well for them in the first round, but I do think that the Rangers get that third spot, and then we'll kind of see where it goes.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
Same scenario. I have, first, second, you're looking at the Capitals and the Penguins. I think they're the tops in the division. I definitely think they have the firepower to get there again. Third place, I was looking at the Islanders, maybe sneaking in there at the third spot. And then the fourth and the fifth, which are the 2 wild cards, I'm looking at the Rangers, obviously, and then maybe the Flyers getting in there on the wild card.
So you think the Metro takes both wild cards in the East?
Yes, I believe they do. Yeah.
You're moving over to the Atlantic, a team that I just think is just loaded, really are. Tampa Bay.
Yep.
I think they win the division hands down. I don't think it's even that close. And then you look at the teams below that. I think Florida's a very up and coming team. They were very aggressive this offseason. They got Keith Yandle, the former Ranger, going to help their defense quite a bit. They brought in players that are going to continue to go with the youth that they've brought in there. Yep. They're a definite playoff team to me. They're just not at Tampa Bay's level just yet. And the third team in that division for me to make the playoffs is the Montreal Canadiens, who did not make the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Again, now you lose Carey Price. And that hurts. So I do think that they're going to find their way back into a playoff position this year. I think that the Subban trade was asinine at best. I don't like that at all.
Shea Weber.
I think they get in, but I think they get in also because the second half of this division is semi-weak from that standpoint.
I agree with the same 3. He's talking about the Lightning. They're just loaded. I mean, they got Stamkos back. They're definitely solid in goal. They're just loaded to the hill. Second team, you're talking about Florida. Luongo in goal, a veteran goalie who's going to anchor that team, and again, another solid team in that division. And yeah, we're going to bring up the Subban trade. I think it was a dumb move. Yeah, Shea Weber comes there, gives them the defenseman that they need, but same you already had him there in Subban, and you're mixing up chemistry.
I don't think they're a better team than last year, but they're goaltender. If they play the same and they have Price, they're going to be better.
You made a superstar trade. It was a swap.
Yeah, you don't see that too often.
And the chemistry's there with Subban, so I don't know what you're going to get from that trade. But I do believe the Canadiens find their way back and get in there in the third spot as well.
Now, I'll disagree with you as in the wild cards. I do think the Islanders get in as a wild card. I think they may take a little bit of a step back this year. I think the goaltending played really well last year. I think that might come back and earth a little bit. I'm going to go with the Detroit Red Wings. I haven't missed the playoffs in a very, very long time. I apologize, I don't know the number off the top of my head. It's been a very, very long time since the Red Wings have missed the playoffs, and I'm just going to go ahead and think that they beat out some of the other teams. Like you mentioned, the Flyers, who I think take a bit of a step back this year, even if they play a little better. Even a team like Boston, who just seems to be spinning their wheels a little bit. Yeah. So I'm going to say the Red Wings sneak in by like a point or 2 into that last spot in the Eastern Conference.
See, I think the Flyers sneak in that last spot, but that's near to be.
I think you're thinking about last year.
Anyway, let's go to the Western Conference, shall we? Let's go over to the Central Division.
Central Division, listen, this is the best division in hockey.
Yep. I
got to tell you, I mean, the top 3 in this division could all win the Stanley Cup, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least. Chicago is Chicago. That's one of the best rosters in the league by far. Again, and they just seem to be fine players. I mean, you got your Kane and Taves, and everybody knows them. A guy like Artemi Panarin came out of nowhere last year, helped my fantasy team quite a bit, but he came out of nowhere last year to be a great player from Russia. They just keep, building and building. They just keep augmenting their core. I think they're a fantastic team. I love the St. Louis Blues again this year. I thought they were a team that could have won the Cup last year. They've added Neil Yakupov in trade. They've solidified that Jake Allen's going to be the goalie this year. They ended up trading Brian Elliott to Calgary. So that's a team that I really think is going to do well again. And Dallas. So Dallas has goaltending issues, and they've been well documented. Yeah. But that's a very, very high-powered offensive team. So from my standpoint, those are my 3 teams, not, again, to be the top 3 teams in the Central.
In the top three, I agree with. I think Dallas is going to be on top this year. I think they've got a load of firepower. Even though the goaltending situation is a mess right now, it's good to have scoring when you're outscoring what you're allowing. So I think Dallas gets up there. The Predators, even though the Subban trade, we don't agree that it was a good deal to get rid of Weber and Subban. I don't think it hurts them that much. I still think they're solid. Pecorine, in love with Pecorine. I think he's a solid goaltender. And Chicago. Been up there for years. I think Crawford needs to get his act together and needs to be the #1 goalie outright instead of flip-flopping again this year. But I think Chicago's up there again. I think those are my top three again.
And you go over to the Pacific Division. It's a lot of the usual suspects again. Yep. So you look at teams, obviously the Sharks went to the finals last year. I do think they played better than anybody gave them credit for. A lot of that was Martin Jones, their goaltender. Yep. They're going to be a playoff team this year. I don't think they win the division. I think Anaheim does that again. Anaheim is a team that's very, very deep, up front, and on defense. John Gibbs is going to be their full-time goalie this year. I think they're going to be fine. And, I don't think that this team is better than the fourth team in the Central, but you can't count out the Los Angeles Kings. Again, Drew Doughty, Jonathan Quick, they had stars all over the place. Ugly way last season ended for them. I think they're going to come in with a little more swagger to their step and want to reestablish themselves. They're definitely a playoff team in my mind. We'll see where they go from there.
We disagree a little bit. I think the Sharks are going to be up there again this year. I think the Sharks are a solid team. And I think the Ducks are a solid team. They will be there as well. But I do not like the LA Kings this year. I think the Calgary Flames could sneak in there this year. Johnny Gaudreau, new deal, playing with a little more jump. Believe it or not, here's a young kid who anchors that team, and they go as he goes. I think the Calgary Flames sneak in there at the #3 spot in that division.
Not impossible. Not impossible. And you mentioned that you like Nashville in your top three in the Central. I fully believe they're a wild card team. Again, that's a great team. They got better. The Weber for Subban trade is a clear win in my opinion for them. He's a better offensive player, maybe slightly less of a defensive player, but the kid's a stud. My other wild card, I'm torn here. I'm torn here between, I also like Calgary as well. I think that getting Brian Elliott in goal is a big help, and I think that they got a lot of young players too. Sean Monahan, you mentioned Gaudreau. Yep. I'm going to go with Calgary here, but if it's not Calgary, look out for those Edmonton Oilers. And I say that because Connor McDavid looks like he's ready to take over. They made a very I'm not going to curse on this show, but a really stupid trade to trade Taylor Hall to the Devils.
Yeah.
But I think McDavid's ready to take it over. I think if they get goaltending out of Cam Talbot, which is not out of the realm, their defense might play a little bit better. Again, they did end up getting Milan Lucic in free agency, so a bit of a different look. I think the Oilers could sneak in, but if they kind of fall off, I like Calgary as well.
Could it be their 15 first-round picks that they've gotten to?
That's a lot, man.
Yeah. So anyway,
and your wild card, sir.
The wild cards that I have are the St. Louis Blues. I think they obviously get in there again. There's a team I think it takes a little bit of a step back this year, but still a good team. And I'm torn as well on my wild card. I am stuck between those Winnipeg Jets and those LA Kings, but I think I'm going to give the nod to the LA Kings. I think the Jets are not ready to get there yet. Shaky in goal. It's still not ready to take that leap. I think the Kings still good with Mike Quick and Doughty and all those guys.
Quick. Get your Eagles talk out of your head. Mike Quick.
Wrong
sports.
Oh my God! I said Mike Quick. All right, sorry, Jonathan Quick. I'm sorry. I apologize to you.
You're fine.
It's been a long night. But yeah, I'm going to take the LA Kings and the St. Louis Blues as my wild cards.
So, who do you think comes out of the East?
You gotta like the Capitals again. I mean, I like the Capitals, but all bets are off. I think the Penguins go a little further again. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't have the Rangers going. I know you. I know you want the Rangers. Going.
Hey, I'm as realistic as they come. Yeah. I don't think the Rangers got out of the first round again. I think they're up against tough competition.
The Capitals and Pittsburgh, I think, fight it out again.
So I think that they do fight it out again in that division. But what I'm going to say is that Tampa Bay comes out of the East to go to the finals. Yeah. And I'm going to say that because I think that the Penguins and Caps are going to beat each other up and in that second round series. And I think Tampa Bay is going to be an easier road to get there. Again, a team that's just loaded with offensive players.
If Tampa does play Pittsburgh, Tampa could take
I think Tampa takes them out. I think Tampa goes to the finals this year out of the East.
And then in the West, I mean, you got to like... I like the Stars. The Stars got to make up for it. I mean, they had troubles last year struggling with goaltending issues. They got to go further than this year, and I think them and the Predators are going to battle it out to see who goes.
My problem with Dallas is the goaltending. I cannot in good conscience pick a team with that goaltending and go into the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, 11 million tied to 2 goals.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick my darling pick out of the West every year, and that's the St. Louis Blues. Again, they're a team that I don't think has any weaknesses. I really, really don't. You can say Jake Allen's a bit of an unproven goaltender.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree entirely. He's got a lot of pedigree. That's a very, very good team. I mean, they did lose a couple players in free agency, but nobody think they're going to miss too much. Even a guy like Backus, I felt that he can be replaced. So I'm going to take St. Louis to come out of the West.
So don't sleep on the Ducks. They could
listen.
out. They had a bad year last year. They had a down year in that series. I think Getzlaf didn't play as well as he should have.
There's a lot of good teams out west, Mike. A lot of good teams.
Yeah, the West is still better than the East. Even though the East is loaded, I think the West is still a solid conference.
I think that the East is more top-heavy. I think that the West is just all really good. However,
correct.
My current, today, Stanley Cup pick, I'm going to pick Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay gets it done this year. I think, again, they're going to have an easier road to get to the finals, and the teams out west are going to beat each other up. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay over the St. Louis Blues to win the Stanley Cup. Go Tampa. Oh my God, I don't like them.
Yeah,
I have some deep-seated hatred from 2015.
Unfortunately, we got to go in different directions. I do think Tampa is loaded and they're a good team, but how do you knock off the Pittsburgh Penguins? It's a chore. It's been tried before, and nobody's doing it. And to get on top of the champ, you got to beat the champ. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh goes back again this year, and I'm going to say that they play the Dallas Stars. I mean, I just think the Stars, it's their year. It's going to be a battle between them and the Ducks. I think the Stars win out this year, get to the Stanley Cup. Pittsburgh wins again.
I think Pittsburgh wins again.
It could.
It's going to be a lot of ice in this area. That's
it could happen. So that's all the time we have. Hope you enjoyed our conference reviews. We'll have some more hockey stuff coming. The season's coming.
Oh, a lot more hockey stuff throughout the year, of course. And
the
only way to make sure that you're made aware of it when it first comes out is to make sure you're subscribing on YouTube, make sure you're following us on Facebook, that you're following us on Twitter, you're liking us on Facebook, all social media, we're everywhere. But just again, make sure that you're keeping tabs of what we're offering so you can get there and see everything.
And again, keep in mind that Sportsbox, the only opinion that matters.
It's right here, especially when it's down here.
Well, it's not really here.
This opinion matters quite a bit.
For show purposes, it's here.
Yeah.
And it's not here, though. So, thanks for watching. See you.
Don't forget to subscribe.